Welcome back, everyone, for another Kwolfs deep dive. As always, the Kwolfs research team has been digging deep, trying to find the most interesting and valuable insights for you. And, at Kwolfs, we're all about that. We're building the Technocracy financial markets, an efficient, convenient, and secure live streaming community trading platform. But today's deep dive isn't about our platform. It's about something much bigger. It's about a power shift that's reshaping everything. Tech finance, even government.
It's a big one. We're not just talking about small policy changes or anything. This is a fundamental shift in how decisions are being made and who's calling the shots.
So let's get into it. To help us really understand this power shift, we're diving into this excerpt from The New Technocracy, how Trump and Musk are rewriting market rules. This excerpt does a great job of showing how these two, in particular, are changing the game.
Yeah, and what's crazy is how they're kind of two sides of the same coin. You've got Elon Musk with this massive influence across Tesla, SpaceX, and now xAI. Combined, those companies are worth over $1 trillion. That kind of financial power is leverage on a scale we've never really seen before.
It's wild. And then you have Trump back in the picture.
It really shows how the influence of traditional media is shrinking. He completely bypassed all those established channels.
Yeah.
He still gets what he wants.
The old playbook is out the window.
Exactly. And this new power structure operates way differently, especially with communication. It's not about press releases or formal announcements anymore. It's all direct to the market, happening in real time, and it's sending shockwaves through everything.
Yeah, the excerpt had this crazy example where Trump hints at tariffs on Canada and Mexico, just a social media post.
And bam, within hours, the Mexican peso drops 2%. The Canadian dollar takes a hit too.
It's like the market's reacting instantly to social media now.
Instantaneously, that direct line of communication has made the market super sensitive, super reactive.
So algorithms are factoring in like social media sentiment.
Oh yeah, traditional market analysis. Less about predicting the future and more about trying to keep up with the present.
Trying to catch up.
Yeah.
So the speed of communication is one thing.
Yeah.
But the excerpt also talks about the speed of implementation.
Yeah.
Things that used to take years are now happening in months.
Oh, absolutely. Look at xAI. They got their hands on 100,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs. Those are some of the most powerful AI chips out there. Started building their huge facility in Memphis, all within a few months of launching, something like that. Used to take years.
Years to even get off the ground.
Totally.
Like everything's in fast forward now.
Yeah.
And it's not just one company or sector. We're
Yeah.
seeing supply chains restructuring like crazy to adapt.
It's a whole new ballgame.
Completely.
And then there's this other thing. These major players, they're in multiple domains at once, like Musk, electric vehicles, space, social media, now AI, that much influence. It's almost impossible to wrap your head around.
Yeah, he's not even playing the same game anymore. The excerpt actually compared Musk's style to Trump's way of governing. They both seem to operate outside the normal boundaries of power.
It's true. And they're not just breaking the mold. They're creating totally new structures. Like, look at SpaceX's Starlink, 12,000 satellites. They're providing internet to tons of countries. That kind of influence used to only belong to nations.
Now private companies are doing it.
Yeah.
So how does all this impact the average investor? How do you even make sense of it?
Well, the excerpt says, the traditional valuation models, they're struggling to keep up these new power dynamics. They introduce a whole set of variables that were never even considered before. So companies that are aligned with this new structure, especially in AI, space tech, and digital currencies, they're getting valued at a premium.
So it's not just about the technology itself.
Yeah.
It's about where you fit in this new power structure.
Exactly.
They gave the example of NVIDIA. Their market cap doubled this year to $1.5 trillion.
It's not just about the chips they make. It's about their position, their strategic importance in this whole AI revolution.
They're powering the whole thing.
Exactly.
And speaking of AI, the excerpt goes into the competition between xAI and OpenAI.
That's a good one. It's not just a race for better tech. It's a clash of philosophies. How to approach innovation and governance.
All right, so break that down for me. What are the key differences between these two?
So you have OpenAI, backed by Microsoft. They represent a more traditional approach. Steady progress, regulation, compliance. And they've already got some huge wins. ChatGPT, over 100 million users, pulling in serious revenue.
Okay, so playing the long game, building trust, working within the system.
Exactly. But then you have xAI, all about speed, disruption, closely aligned with the administration. And they're moving fast. The valuation hit $50 billion in just a few months. That shows you how much confidence the market has in them, their potential, their strategic position.
That's high stakes.
Oh, yeah.
Big bets.
The big bets on breakthrough.
And the market is loving it. And this isn't just happening in AI.
Right.
We're seeing it in digital finance, too.
Definitely.
Cryptocurrency markets.
Huge reactions to potential regulatory changes. Bitcoin hit $90,000.
Wow. So this power shift, it's a domino effect.
Totally is. It really is impacting everything.
Traditional finance must be scrambling to keep up.
Oh, yeah. And then you see these industrial tech companies, the ones with advanced manufacturing, suddenly they're worth way more.
Like their valuations have jumped up.
Huge jumps. It's a whole different set of rules now.
So we're seeing this across the board. And the excerpt actually lays out some things to watch for in 2025. One that really jumped out at me is this idea of technological sovereignty.
Yeah. So basically, countries are getting really focused on being self-sufficient when it comes to key technologies.
Like they don't want to rely on other countries.
Especially in areas like AI, space tech, digital currencies. And the excerpt says the Trump administration is going to be a big driver of this.
It makes sense. In this new landscape, it's not just about the economy anymore. It's about national security, strategic advantage.
It's all connected.
So we're already seeing signs of this.
Oh, yeah. The excerpt mentions the CENT-PS Act, investing $52 billion to boost U.S. semiconductor production.
Wow. That's a clear signal. The U.S. wants to control its own destiny when it comes to these crucial technologies.
Absolutely.
Because if you control the chips, you control so much of the tech world.
Like controlling the oil of the digital age.
Exactly.
And this push for self-sufficiency, it goes beyond just chips. Remember those tariffs we talked about?
Yeah.
They're part of a bigger trend.
Yeah.
Bringing production back home.
Reshore it.
Especially for these key technologies.
So instead of these globalized supply chains,
it's shifting towards more localized production.
that's a huge change.
And it's happening fast, the excerpt says. 30% of U.S. companies are actively reshoring and cross-border tech investment between the U.S. and China, down 45% this year.
Oh, there's some serious numbers.
It's a whole new map for global tech.
Totally redrawn.
And the companies that can adapt, those are the ones that are going to win. The excerpt uses Tesla as a great example. They've managed to lower their battery production costs by like 20–30% compared to traditional car makers.
Huge advantage.
Yeah.
So they figured out how to be innovative, but also strategically aligned with these new priorities.
Exactly.
And that leads to another key takeaway. The excerpt calls it the innovation premium.
Yeah. Companies that can show real breakthrough potential. They're being valued way higher than companies that just have scale or market share.
So it's not enough to just be big anymore.
Nope.
You got to be smart.
Got to be adaptable.
Innovative.
Exactly. And this premium, it's even bigger in those strategically important sectors where investors are looking for companies that can contribute to national capabilities.
So it's like they're investing in the future of the country.
Not just the future of a company.
We've gone from move fast and break things
to move fast and build the future.
I like that. So to recap, we've talked about this new power structure, the shift toward technological sovereignty, supply chains getting reshaped, and the importance of innovation. But what does it all mean for our listeners? What are the big takeaways they should be thinking about?
I think the biggest thing is we are in the middle of a massive transformation. The old ways of doing business, investing, even just thinking about power, they're becoming obsolete.
It's like we've crossed the line.
Into a new era.
And there's no going back.
Exactly. And in this new era, it's not enough to just be good at what you do. You have to be strategically aligned with these forces that are shaping the future.
You test to see what's coming.
Adapt quickly.
Innovate constantly.
That's how you win in this game.
So what are some concrete steps our listeners can take to position themselves for success?
Right. Well, first, awareness. You have to understand these trends, the forces at play, how they might impact your industry, your investments.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not just about absorbing information, it's about using it.
You got to be proactive. Make strategic decisions based on what you learn.
So it's not just about riding the wave.
It's about learning to surf.
Exactly.
And remember, this is a dynamic process. The landscape is constantly changing.
So you have to be flexible.
Adaptable.
What works today might not work tomorrow.
Be ready to adjust your strategy.
It's like a maze.
That's constantly
You
shifting.
need to see the big picture.
But also pay attention to the details.
And don't be afraid to experiment.
That's right. This is the time for bold moves, creative thinking. The rules are being rewritten, so don't be afraid to break a few yourself.
That's great advice. So in this new era, it's all about staying informed, being adaptable.
And embracing that spirit of innovation.
Yeah, it really is all about that growth mindset now.
Definitely. This isn't the time to sit back and just watch. This is the time to be bold, be curious, and be ready to jump on the opportunities this new era is creating.
Couldn't agree more. So to wrap things up, we've really dug into this idea of a power shift happening. Across tech finance and government, we saw how people like Elon Musk and Donald Trump are totally rewriting the rules of the game. And we talked about what this new technocracy means for investors, for anyone who wants to thrive in this new world.
This excerpt we've been looking at from the new Technocracy, how Trump and Musk are rewriting market rules. It gives us such a powerful way to understand all these shifts.
It's a must-read for anyone who wants to stay ahead of the curve.
Absolutely.
But before we go, I want to leave you with one last thought. How are you going to use this knowledge? How will you position yourself to not just survive, but to thrive in this new era? Because the future belongs to those who embrace the change, learn the new rules, and play the game strategically.
That's a great way to put it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the new technocracy. As always, stay tuned for more fascinating insights from the Kwolfs research team. Until next time,